Today we go to Ariyavasasutta from Anguttara Nikaya. According to the Pitaka, there are 10 Ariyavasa dhammas, and the first of these dhammas is the elimination of 5 hindrances. All over the world, people live in houses made of leaves, bricks, wood, cement, etc. They live in the house, they live in the buildings that protect them from heat of the sun, cold, robbers, insects, reptiles, and other dangers of life. If you live without building, there are many dangers. Buildings or houses or dwellings, in Pali it is called avasa. Ariyavasa means noble dwellings. Dwellings of the Buddha, dwellings of the Arahants. So if we have no building outside, there are many dangers: snows, heat, rains, robbers, insects, reptiles, etc. Many dangers will come if we live without buildings. But there are many dangers in the rounds of rebirths if we live in an abode which, unlike the abode of Ariya, is devoid of security. The dangers of samsara, the dangers of rounds of rebirth, are more deadly and fearsome than those threatening a man who does not live in a well-protected house. If we live in a ramshackle house, if we live in the dilapidated house or old house, it is not secure. But the insecurity of a ramshackle house does not matter much when compared with the potential evils of rounds of rebirth that may follow a man from one existence to another. Evils that are really very frightening. For instance, one may land in one of the four lower states. One may be reborn in the denizen of hell. One may be reborn as a hungry ghost or an animal, or he may be reborn as a poor, wretched man who has to suffer much just for bare survival or because of the cruelty of other people. Because in hell and hungry ghost realm, their lifespan is very long, and suffering more than others. And if the person become a wealthy man cannot avoid the universal evils of life. Wealthy man cannot avoid sickness, aging and death. So common people worldling people, puthujana, cannot escape the evils that will make trouble them throughout their life cycles. And who escaped from the evils? Who liberated? Buddha and Arahants were liberated. Liberation is attained only by the Buddha and the Arahants who practice the Ariyavasa Dhammas. So Buddha proclaimed the Dhamma that would provide the best insurance against the dangers of wrongs or rebirths, samsara. So the first Ariyavasa Dhamma requires the practitioner to remove the 5 hindrances. There are 5 hindrances, kamicchanda, sensual desire, etc. Now the yogi, the practitioner, observe every phenomena occurring at these 6 sense doors, and he or she have to struggle with the first hindrance, the first evil, in the practice of constant mindfulness. In the beginning, the yogi's concentration is weak, mindfulness is weak. Yogi cannot firmly control his mind, which therefore wander freely, revolving about its cherished sense object. The mind wander to desirable objects, sensual object. Our mind is very familiar to the sensual object, so it wanders. It goes to the sensual object. So the mind is confined by the mental hindrances that block the noble path to nirvana. So the yogi must note, yogi must remove the 5 hindrances. Yogi must note sensual desire, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and worry, and skeptical doubt. When the 5 hindrances appear, yogi have to note and reject. Kamicchana nivarana, sensual desire, kama and chanda. Kama, wanting, chanda, liking. Everybody wants sensual objects. For example, man prepared the delicious food to enjoy. Man prepare delicious food to enjoy, and the fly comes to take the food, and the ants also come. They also want delicious food. When we taking the food, the fly also come to take the food. So man have to protect the delicious food. Sensual desire is desire for pleasant visible objects, desire for delightful sounds, desire for sweet smell, desire for delicious food, and so forth. In the teaching of the Buddha, pleasant sensual objects are compared to a piece of meat carried off by a kite that becomes a target of fear attack by other birds until it drops the meat. If the kite has a piece of meat, it becomes a target of fierce attack by other birds until it drops the meat. Only then the kite escapes harassment by other birds. In the same way, the object of sensual pleasures allures, attracts all living beings, and hence the owner of the sensual pleasures becomes the target of attack by other people who wish to rob him of it. Indeed, love of sensual pleasures is the mainspring of conflicts between one individual and another and all over the world. It is the chief cause of class, racial, ethnic, and international conflicts. So, sensual desire is criticized by Buddhas and Arahants. It is loathed and renounced by all wise men. Wise men criticize sensual desire and sensual object of sensuality. Nevertheless, most people turn a blind eye to the evils of sensual pleasures, and modern man is excessively fond of sensual pleasures. To him, sensual pleasures is the summum bonum of life, something to be sought by every possible means, regardless of all moral considerations. 5 objects of sensual desire. Of the 5 objects of sensual desire, the first one, Ruparamana, visible objects, covers a wide range of corporeality, both animate and inanimate, such as men, women, garments, and other consumer goods. In the same way, Sadharamana, sound, as sensual objects, may mean a person who speaks persuasively as well as a musical instrument. Gandharamana, smell, is represented by perfumes and the human beings who use it. Rasa Ramanam, Potapa Ramanam, tactile impression is born of physical contact with man, woman, bed, clothes, etc. Rasa Ramanam, taste, is associated with all delicious food and people who prepare it. In short, all pleasant objects can generate sensual desire, which is an obstacle to right mindfulness of the practitioner. And Buddha compared the sensual desire and its human victim to the dead and the debtor, and Buddha exhorted the practitioner to get rid of it promptly, just like the debtor who seeks to repay his debt without delay. If a man cannot settle his debt on time, the creditor will get angry, and a man has to be object and obedient in his relationship with the creditor. The debtor not daring to say or to do anything offensive to the creditor. It is in the ancient days, it is in the times of the Buddha. So the debtor has to respect his creditor just as the debtor has to respect his creditor, so also every man has to respect the object of his desire. The more he loves it, the more care he must take of it. As for gold, silver, jewels and other precious ornaments that are cherished by so many people, they have to be kept under lock and key. When you wear expensive ornaments on ceremonial occasion, you have trouble looking for a secure place. So such troubles are regarding a non-living, inanimate. Such troubles regarding with non-living are mild in comparison with those rooted in one's attachment to a living being, such as one's spouse or children. One has to pay high price for his or her attachment in terms of scrupulous regard for the feelings of others. You have to considerate in talking and so forth. The more deeply a man is attached to a member of his family or a friend, the more he is concerned about the welfare of his beloved and the more trouble he has to take for it. Thus, respect for the living or the non-living object of attachment is like the debtor's respect for his creditor. If there is no attachment to anything, if there is no attachment to a living being, no need for respect, as in the case of a person who is free from debt. Now yogis are practicing meditation. They observe every phenomena occurring at the six doors. Yogi should note and reject every desire that arises. Of course, this advice is not of much avail all the time in everyday life. It is impossible to note desire in our daily life. Noting the desire is to be applied only when we are practicing meditation. So when desire arises, yogi have to note desire, and reject it. If concentration is too weak to dispel every distraction, yogi should keep noting until it disappears in the end. Yogi note desire 3 times. It not disappear. Yogi keeps on noting desire 10 times. Not disappear, keeps on noting 20, 30, etc. until it disappears. Yogi should note. Practice of the Dharma means waging war on our mental defilements. If, inspired with fighting zeal, the yogi relentlessly persists in noting, desire will vanish eventually. Many yogis have the kinds of experience. If they note continuously and precisely, the desire vanish eventually. Indeed, the desire which has withered away does not appear again, even when you mentally review the streams of consciousness leading to sensual object. Then, this meditation technique is the best way to combat our mental defilements effectively. If we do not meditate, if we cannot conquer these mental defilements, we cannot hope to earn the privilege of living in the abode of the noble ones. If a man dies at the time when he is able to note and reject the sensual desire, he or she is protected from the danger of the lower states. On the other hand, there is no such protection for those who die with the mental defilements still lingering in sensual objects. For like residents of a tumble-down house that is exposed to all kinds of danger, so also the worldling, the non-practitioner who have mental defilements still lingering in sensual objects is vulnerable to the risk of landing in the lower states. In the time of our Lord Buddha, there was a monk called Desa. One day, a monk Desa got a new robe, a very special robe. And then he took fancy to that robe and became attached to that robe. Intent on wearing it, the next day he hung it on the clothesline and went to bed. But on that very night, monk Desa became suddenly ill and died. Given his moral purity, monk Desa should have landed in heaven. Instead, because of his attachment to the special robe, monk Desa became a loss on that robe. Many people were skeptical about the story. They rejected it as funny story. One man argued that it was impossible for an elephant to become an insect, and insect cannot become an elephant. He argued that the difference of the two souls, the soul of elephant cannot enter to the soul of the ant, and the soul of ant cannot enter to the soul of the elephant. He argued the view of disparity, the view of difference in size of the two souls of elephants and ants. Such rebirth was unthinkable, he argued. So we'll continue this area Vasadharma. Tomorrow we have to stop our discourse for today. We need to remember What is Ariyavasa? Ariyavasa means the dwelling of the noble, dwelling of Buddhas and Arahants. And Ariyavasa Dhamma is the noble dwelling expounded by the Buddha. And in the Ariyavasa Dhamma, it mentioned that to develop mindfulness, yogi need to be mindful. Yogi need to observe every object and constantly protect oneself. So by practicing Satipatthana Vipassana meditation, by observing every object and constantly protect oneself, by noting continuously, meticulously and resourcefully, may all practitioners realize the real peace in the very near future.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.